Okay, so we've talked about factoring in the form of x squared. We talked about factoring in the form of x squared plus bx plus c. And now we're going to actually factor in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay? Well, the difference in these two here is that a is not equal to 1, and here a is equal to 1. So that actually means we're going to have coefficients other than 1 here. So for instance, like this example here, we'll have 2. We'll have 2x squared plus 11x plus 12. Okay. When you see this problem here, the first thing that we want to do is we want to take a look at it, because we're going to factor this. Let's make this problem number A. Okay, so we're going to factor this. We want to factor it. Okay. The first step to doing this is multiplying A times C. So A multiplied by C. Okay, so 12 multiplied times 2. 2 multiplied times 12, which will give me 24. Okay, after I do that, we need to find the factors of 24, 2 factors of 24 that will add to 11. Well, let's go ahead and do it. Let's list the factors of 24. So factors of 24. It's the same idea as our other video here. So let's list the factors of 24. We have 1 and 24. We have 2 and 12. We have 3 and 8. We have 4 and 6. Well, we don't actually have to go any further, because if we look at this, 24 plus 1, that'd be 25. That's not it. 12 plus 2, that would give me a 14. That's not it. And 3 plus 8, that'd give me 11. But that is what I'm looking for. Right? So I'm actually looking to take out this one here. This is the one I want to deal with. Okay? Perfect. Now that I have this taken out, let's go ahead and see what we can do with this. Well, we're going to go ahead and split the middle term. That's what this is called. It's called splitting this term here. We're going to split it. We're going to split it. Okay? So the way we do that is we bring everything else down. So we bring 2x squared down, and instead of writing plus 11x, we write plus 3x plus 8x, and then bring down plus 12. Now, the reason that we do this, we split 11x into plus 3x plus 8, is so it becomes factorable. But that's basically going to add to 11x. So we really didn't change anything, okay? We just changed the numbers that are there, right? So it becomes factorable. Okay, so great. So we have 2x squared plus 3x plus 8 plus 12. Okay, so if you're looking at 2x squared plus 3x plus 8x plus 12. Here's what we need to do. We have to do something called grouping. So we'll have to group these first terms, this first set here, which is this, and then we group this set. So basically, we split this straight down the middle and group these together and then group those together, okay? Now, once we get these split up, okay, we're actually going to factor out the GCF. If you remember from factoring out the GCF from a different video, then you'll understand how this video works. Okay, so first thing we do, we can factor out, we look at this, if both of them have a variable and it's the same variable, we actually look at the smallest variable. So the smallest variable in here is what? It's x, okay, because this is an x squared, so this is an x. So we can factor out an x for sure. But do they have any numbers in common as well? So is 2 and 1, do they have any common factors besides 1? No. So what are we left with? Well, we want to get a 2x squared here, so we're going to be left with a 2x here, because 2x times x will give me 2x squared. And then we want a plus 3, so we're going to put plus 3 because we want a 3x. And we multiply x times 3, we get plus 3x when we distribute this x over here, right? Perfect. Now let's do this. I'm going to actually write this x in a different color here, and you'll see why in a minute. Let's write this x in gold here. Let's write that x in gold. Okay. Then, if we look here, I want to factor something else out. Well, I have 8x and 12x. These don't have any x's in common, but they do have 4 in common. I can factor out a 4. And then I'm left with what after I factor out my 4? I'm left with, well, 4 times what will give you 8x? Well, 2x. And 4 times what will give you 12? Well, that's a positive 3. Okay, well, look here. What do we have? We seem to have the same thing here and the same thing here. This is where the grouping stage comes in at. You know, this is called grouping. We're going to group it, okay? So we're going to take this term here and then this term here. This is exactly why I had you write that term. But you want to make sure you keep your sign. So that's a positive 4, right? So all you're going to do is take this term and put it in this term and put it in parentheses. So it's x plus 4. Perfect. And then since these are the same in parentheses, we'll just write it as 1. So we'll just write it in 1 parentheses, okay? So we just took it and made it 1, right? So it'll be 2x plus 3, okay? So it'd be x plus 4 times 2x plus 3. Now, this is indeed the factored form, but just in case you don't trust me here, let's go ahead and check it based on the methods that we learned before of checking factorization by FOIL, okay? So the check. Well, let's go ahead and do it. X plus 4 times 2x plus 3. If we FOIL this, we'll get 2x squared by multiplying this first times first. Then the last, that'll be, the outer terms, that'd be plus 3x. Then the inner terms, that'd be plus 8x. And then the last terms, that'd be plus 12. Well, if we combine our like terms, 3x plus 8x give me a positive 11x plus 12. This here is the same thing as our original expression. So this is equal to the original expression. Okay? So if that's equal to the original expression, then that means that this here is the factored form. Okay? All right, so it's a little bit different than what we're used to with the other factoring that we did, but it's just going to take a little bit to get used to. So let's go ahead and do another problem here. Okay, we can go ahead and erase this because we're going to get a new problem. Alrighty. Okay, let's look here. We're going to take, well, let's say we have this here. We have 5, let's say we have 5x squared minus 14x plus 8. 5x squared minus 14x plus 8. Okay, well, what do we do? First of all, let's get some steps going here, just so you can have something to follow by. Let's see. Step 1. Step 1 says multiply A and C. So we're going to multiply A and C. Step 2. Well, let's do step 1 first, then we'll write step 2. Well, step 1 says multiply A and C. That's A and that's C. 5 times 8 is equal to 32. Okay? Now, once we've multiplied and got 5 times 8, I'm sorry, not 32. I'm thinking of 5 times 4. 5 times 8 and we get 40. Okay, now once we've gotten this 40, step 2 says find a factor of the product of A and C. Find a factor of the product of A and C that adds to B. So we need to find the product of A and C that'll add to B. Well, what is B? Well, okay, let me make that look like an add. That find the product of A and C that adds to B. Okay, well, what is B in this case? B in this case would be our negative 14. So we want to find the factors of 40 that will multiply, that will add to be 40. Okay, well, let's go ahead and do that here. The factors of 40, well, we have, let's see, we have 1 and 40, of course. I'm going to go ahead and try to, because I'm going to run out of space here listing these factors. So I'm going to erase the steps from right here. Okay, because I'm going to run out of space. So the factors of 40, we have 1 and 40. We have 2 and what? We have 2 and 20. All right, that 2 and 20. It's not writing here. 3 in anything? No, because 40 is not divisible by 3. Do we have 4 in anything? Yes, we do. We have 4 and 10. 4 and 10. Well, if we look here, okay, if we look here for a second, we realize that 4 and 10, if we add these together, we get 14. Now, we want a negative 14. So can we manipulate this 4 and this 10 to give us a negative 14? Yes, we can. What we can do is we can make this a negative 4 and it's a negative 10, because these still multiply to give me 40. This should say 40, factors of 40. They still multiply to give me 40, right? But they're going to add to give me a minus 14, because this sum is 41, this sum here is 22, and then this sum here would be a minus 14, right? And isn't that what I want? Perfect. So I found my key factors. Negative 4, negative 10. Okay, let's go ahead and deal with these. Well, now that we've done this, step 3 says split the middle term. Step 3 says to split the middle term. Let me rewrite that here. Split the middle term. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it. We're going to split the middle term. So we have 5x squared minus 4x minus 10x plus 8. Okay, we split this middle term because remember in our previous example we said this is the same thing as a minus 14x, right? When we combine these, when we add them, right? Okay, let's finish this off here. Now we're going to have to group. So remember, we're grouping 5x squared minus 4 together and then minus 10x plus 8 together. Okay, let's see what this will give us here. They have both a variable common, which is x. So let's take out the smallest x. Well, we have an x to the second power and we have an x to the first power. So let's take out 1x. So we're going to take out x to the first power. Okay, let's write that in here. Let's take out x to the first power. All right, perfect. Now that we have x to the first power, what do we do after this? We have to figure out what can we multiply times x to give us 5x squared, which would be 5x, right? Because if I multiply x times 5, that gives me if I multiply x times 5x, it'll give me 5x squared. Then I want to get a minus 4x, so I need to multiply it times a minus 4, because x times minus 4 gives me a minus 4x. Perfect. Now this here, I want to get a, let's factor out, I have no variable common, but I can factor out a 2 here. So let's factor out a minus 2. And then minus 2 times what will give me a minus 10x? That's a plus 5x, right? Minus 2 times 5x will give me a minus 10x. Then minus 2 times what will give me a positive 8? Well, minus 2 times a minus 4 will give me a positive 8, right? Now, once again, you see we have the same thing here and we have the same thing here. Okay, well, first of all, let's go ahead and group these two terms here. We're going to group this and this. So let's go ahead and do that. Well, we'll have, this is x, so we'll bring this x down, and this is a minus 2, so we'll bring that down. Good, we're done with those. And then since this is common, we'll just take one of these and bring it down, which will be 5x minus 4. And that, indeed, is your factored form. Okay, let's just say for some reason you don't trust me on this. Problem here. So let's go ahead and check it. We can check this, okay, by using our good old FOIL method here. So the check. Okay, so we have x minus 2 times 5x minus 4, right? By the FOIL method, x times 5, that give me 5x squared. Then x times minus 4, that's a minus 4x. Then negative 2 times a 5x, that give me a minus 10x. Then negative 2 times a negative 4, that give me a plus 8. Okay, then if I simplify this a little bit more, combine my like terms, a minus 4x minus a 10x will give me a minus 14x, bring down plus 8. This here is equivalent to my original expression up there, right? So that must mean that this here is the factored form. Okay, this here is the factored form because my check is out based on the FOIL method. So it is correct based on FOIL. Okay, based on the FOIL method. All right. So we'll do one more example in a different video, and we'll see how it turns out.